Hey, what's going on? It's your boy KLA Cloud the Wanderer. And on a good afternoon, a lovely afternoon, I have the lovely guest, Chris Sutton. She's from all the way
Hi.
from Arkansas, and she's here to tell her story how she got into bodybuilding and other information she can tell us about. How you been?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. Anytime I get to talk to people and get them to understand what's behind bodybuilding, it's a privilege for me to do that. So thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, no doubt. I really appreciate you accepting it, because I am curious about the bodybuilding world at
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
Yeah,
The more word we can get out, the more we can really um, shake people's perception of what this is. That we're parents and we're employees, and this is something we just happen to do also.
yeah,
you know yeah.
yeah. Like, what was it like in your first show competing?
I'll tell you what, I actually prepped my first show. I prepped for my first show in 2020, and then COVID hit, and I missed my first show. So that was,
Um,
I mean, I was just about 2 or 3 weeks out from the MPC Midwest when COVID hit, and all the shows canceled. So I had to wait another year. Did that show like for the first time, my second prep, but my first show, and I actually won the overall in women's figure in the MPC Midwest that year. And it was terrifying, the whole experience, because you really don't have any idea what you're doing. You just kind of have to get out there and figure it out. And I really, really worked hard. I did everything I was supposed to do. And I was not expecting to win. And I've been at the national level since then, since 2021, in figure. Last year was, I did nationals was in 2024. I did nationals in Las Vegas, and finally transitioned into women's physique. So that's what I'm doing now. But
okay,
my first show was great. Yeah.
yeah, so you're still getting your pro card.
I'm still on my way to my pro card. I've actually, I've been always, since I started competing, the regional shows, I usually always win my overall shows regionally. In the national circuit, I've been top five since I started doing nationals a few years back. This past year, I won in Las Vegas at the USA Masters. I won 45 and I won 40, and went to the overall twice. Um, and it just wasn't my year yet. I have this tendency to stay very big on top, and my legs don't match. So this year we really readjusted what my plan was to make sure that we're coming through symmetrically this year. But I've always placed pretty high in my shows, and Sandy has been my judge for all of my national shows. And this is an Olympia judge, and she gave
Okay,
me excellent. Yeah, she gave me excellent feedback on this last go. Told me exactly what I needed to do, and I've changed coaches. So my coach since last year has been Brooke Walker, and she's number three in the world. So having her by my side and having her make sure everything's ready to go, and it's been wonderful. And she's a great coach, and so I'm
yeah.
hoping that this year I compete in November 21st in Las Vegas again. I've been on prep for about 6 weeks now. Um, so excited. I'm hungry already. It's probably too soon for most people to be hungry, but I'm hungry.
Yeah, let me show some pictures of you. You have a nice
Yes.
physique. Yeah. Now,
Thank
what
you.
show was this?
This was USA Masters this past
Okay.
November, and that was in Anaheim, California. Um, and as you can see, my conditioning on my top is very, very good. I just need those legs to catch up a little bit.
Yeah. How big?
Yeah.
How big your legs got to be?
Well, the legs have to match the top, and that was the critique from Sandy this year, was
Yeah.
that my top is perfect conditioning size, but my legs aren't the same size as my top.
I'm gonna
So
keep
we,
it real. I don't. I can't tell the difference.
I well, thank you,
I can't
thank
tell the
you,
difference. Like,
thank you,
yeah, like, yeah, you look nice.
thank you, thank
Yeah,
you. That was my last year doing figure as
yeah.
well. I'm just going to be in physique from this point on. And that's where my heart is
Yeah.
in women's physique.
Yeah. Is it frustrating, like to just at times I mean, I know you was told, but like just go back to the drawing board and
Oh,
just
yeah.
work at it.
There's some frustration in there, but there's also some eye of the tiger in there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
When they tell you to go back to the drawing board, it's a chance to do it all over again and to do it better. So every time I do a prep, not only am I excited to make those changes and excited to try again, but every time I have a prep, I also work on something in me personally and try to make that stronger. This year, with my last prep, it was growing closer to God because I had lost my way. And so this past year, I went back to being, where I needed to be with God and really practicing on being a better Catholic and things like that. And so every year, I try to work on something on a personal level, because if I'm struggling with food and all that, I'm like, if I'm tough enough to do this, I'm tough enough to do other things. And so every year I try to do that. So it's an exciting time to start prep again. It's an exciting time to go back to the drawing board every time. So I love it.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
What's your origin story on bodybuilding? Like how you got started into bodybuilding?
So funny, I was, and there's a picture of my Instagram from, when I first started. I was a little overweight, just doing mom things and kind of not really taking care of myself.
Right.
And I found this online trainer named Duncan Lucas, and this was for my first show right here. And just really getting after it. I was a little overweight, and I said, I'm just going to give this a try. But my body responded really well. And I thought, well, I'm just going to take it to the next level. And I tried once, won the overall, and been there ever since. And so, it's a great, it's a great story, because it's unexpected, but it's been wonderful the entire time.
So is your husband a bodybuilder? Because
my husband,
looks
I'll tell
like
you
he
what,
worked out.
He's a big dude, just naturally.
Yeah.
He's a big guy naturally. He's one of those men that were just kind of, born country with that big back and big chest, and his daddy's the same way. But he tried it with me on my first show so that I wouldn't be lonely, because he's a great husband, and he hated it. He said he's never doing that again. So now he's my biggest supporter, right? He gets all the plane tickets booked, a hotel room booked. He makes all my food before my shows. He makes sure I'm resting. He's making sure that I'm not creeping into the cabinets at night to eat things when I'm not supposed to be. So he's my biggest supporter. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be able to get through any of this. So I'm very, very grateful for him.
Yeah. What about like the rest of your family? Is he like the only one
I will tell you, my whole family has, at first, it's a little confusing to everyone when you come to the family barbecue with your own food. And they take it as almost insulting at the beginning. And then it's like, oh, just have a bite, it's fine. Just have a drink, it's fine. Because they don't understand. But once they saw how much it meant to me and how much I loved it, they're all behind me. They come to my shows. They make sure I stay on track now. And my son, who's 19, he makes sure to come to my shows and roots me on. And it's always wonderful to see his face in the crowd, screaming, "Go mom, go mom." So that makes it all the much better.
That's cool. That's cool. I went to I wouldn't say my first bodybuilder show, but my first show of the NPC.
Yeah.
And I went to Fitness Model Bikini. It was on July 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would see like people getting support from people. I mean, the competitors getting support from people, and it was cool. Well, cool. Not just that, not this show in particular, but in other shows as well. They just kind of they like every time they see somebody that they know, they start cheering and
cheering. Yes, absolutely. It helps, and I can, like, when I'm on stage, I can hear my husband, and I can hear my son and my friends, and it makes it all the more better, But I'm so excited for this season, and I'm so excited to try again, and to have them there rooting me on every time. I'm very fortunate.
Yeah. Is this like somebody that you admire in the sport?
My coach, obviously, Brooke
Brooke
Walker.
Walker. Yeah, yeah,
It's funny because we've come a long way. So she used to, when I did my first show in 2021 for the NPC Midwest, she was a stage usher there. Um, and that's how I first met Brooke. And I would see her at other shows, and I would see her with her competitors later on. And she's she's shorter than I am, and I'm a pretty
yeah,
short woman. And her body, you see her, and it's phenomenal. And it's what we all like aspire to look like. I mean, she's amazing. And being able to have her as my mentor to look up to, and it really helps me achieve my goals. But I mean, her look is, to me, is perfect. You know,
yeah.
small waist, you know, tapered down. And it's what we all hope to be, you know?
Yeah, yeah, she got a nice physique. Yeah,
Yes,
but you do
she's.
too, also.
Thank
You
you.
know, so
This was actually
yeah,
my first one of my first national shows in Charleston. Um, this was um, this was a great show, and that's when I first got started, kind of just feeling my way around, and my first show, and we've come a long way. I mean, I've definitely. I mean, when I went on stage for my very first show, I was probably 120 pounds,
mm,
um, and now, like, I think with my last show, I was um, almost 140 pounds.
mm,
So we're putting it on every year. We gain what we need to gain. My legs, we've accomplished the mission. We were doing 3 leg days a week in this off season. Um, and we did what we had to do. You know, we brought those legs, we brought that booty in, all of the things that we needed to do. And so we started prep early this year. Usually my preps start 18 to 16 weeks. We started at 24 weeks this year so that we can really peel and take our time doing that. I tend to hold, I mean, I'm almost 50, so I tend to hold that fat in my legs. I mean, it's just part of being a woman and being this age. And last year, I wasn't able to fully pull back on my legs. Like, you couldn't see a lot of striations and stuff. So that's what we're aiming for this year with a nice slow prep, hoping that we can really carve those legs out.
yeah.
But
What do you do for your legs?
so we really focused on heavy lifting this past off season. So a lot of squats, a lot of hack squats, a lot of Bulgarian split squats, a lot of extensions and bridges. I mean, you name it, from like the rooter to the tutor, we did
Yeah,
everything you could possibly imagine to make sure that I brought my legs up to where they needed to be. And we even kind of, Brooke we slowed my building down on top. So instead of me lifting super heavy all off season, we were doing high reps, lightweight, so that my top can match my bottom.
right.
We kind of bring in the whole package in for that symmetrical look. So
Yeah,
we really game plan that from the beginning. I mean, I competed, walked off stage in Anaheim, went on vacation to Mexico for a week, and came back and went right to work. There was
yeah,
no breaks. You
yeah,
know, got right to it.
yeah. Gonna check you out.
Yes, this was prejudging in Anaheim. Um, it was such a good experience to be able to do this. And I won this division that I'm posing for right here, which was either 45 or 40 because I won both. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Really
Obviously, my
nice.
back is my money piece.
So you would mostly be placed like the top five, like
so
on fifth or
so
third or
for this show in particular, for 45, I won that class. For 40, I won that class. And then the way that show works, usually a lot of the national shows, when you win your class, you win your IFBB Pro card. That's
right.
how most of the national shows work. Those shows are like the ones in Philadelphia, those big shows, right? Where you
Yeah,
win your class, you win your card. And those shows have thousands of competitors in them, right? Those lineups are huge. So I prefer to go to smaller shows where I can really dig in, really experience the show without feeling like a ball of nerves because there's 3,000 girls standing behind me.
yeah,
So with this show, you have to win your classes, which I did. I won 45 and 40, and then I went to the overall twice because you have to win the overall to win your card. The girl that beat me in 45 plus in the overall beat me also in 40. And she went on to win her card that day twice.
mm,
And so she had a great physique. She was symmetrical. She had everything matched top and bottom. We kind of, so I understood what it was that I needed to do. But yeah, so that's why I didn't get my card, because you have to win the overalls in those shows in Vegas. And it'll be in Vegas this year. It was in Anaheim last year.
Yeah, I'm starting to understand, about the overall, because
Yeah,
it's like when you hear people like explaining it, it's like they're talking in Chinese, and
I know.
yeah,
And I've had to learn as I went. Like, I actually had to call the NPC and have them explain things to me,
yeah,
because I was like, I don't understand what qualifies. Can I go to nationals? Am I doing the right thing? And
yeah,
I had to just learn
yeah,
what I had to do, because I was clueless. And now I understand how it works, and now I kind of got the gist of things. But there are certain shows where you have to win the overall, not just your class. But those shows that you do win your class, those are huge. Those are
yeah,
massive shows. Like this weekend is the College Masters Nationals.
yeah,
And that one's in Philly too. That's a huge show. Those are like thousands of competitors. But this year I'm hoping to be able to cross over into bodybuilding as well, not
yeah,
just physique. So I'm excited for that possibility. I'm just a bigger girl, and I'm pretty happy about that.
yeah,
I'll tell you what, when I first started doing figure, I was always bigger than everybody in the room, and every time. And I think, we really tried to hold me back for a while, because my size tried to keep me a little smaller, and then my body just didn't want to do that anymore. So now I'm in a good place with it. Yeah.
yeah. Like, how do you feel about people crossing over, like doing the double dip and all that type?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I did double dip at my last show, because I've always, for the past 2 years, I've been competing in physique and figure together. And I mean, if you're going there, right, and you're in shape and you've prepped, and you can fit into these other classes, I mean, do it. You're there.
Yeah,
You only get one chance per year to look the way you do, right? And then you go into an off season. I know some people do 4 or 5 shows a year. That I don't do that. I do one, and then I have to get back to my life, because for my mental health, I'm not gonna. I have things
yeah,
to do. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I'm a
yeah,
wife. I'm a mother. I have a job. So it's really important that you're carving out that time for yourself, in your off season. But yeah, crossing over, I think, is great. I think if you can do that, and if you can fit the mold of other divisions, do it. Go for it. What I kind of find confusing, and I hear other people talk about this, is if you go to a national show and you do win your pro card in physique, or then kind of stop there. You don't need to go down into figure and try to win a pro card there as well.
yeah,
Um, you know what I mean? Because that kind of takes it away from another girl, but that's the name of the game. You know what I mean? And I don't make the rules, but in that aspect, I think crossing over can be tough when you've already won a pro card for the day. Do you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
So, but absolutely, cross over. If you can do it, you can fit it, then go for it. You know?
But for you, what's it like being in a selfish sport?
Let me tell you something. There's some guilt that comes with that. You know what I mean? Because, um, like, my son graduated from high school and I couldn't be there.
Um,
I was at a national show. It just so happened his graduation was on a weekend that was on a national show. You know what I mean? And there are moments like that. Luckily my family's very understanding, but there are moments like that that make you feel like absolute poop, because you can't be there for those
yeah,
moments. You know what I mean? And you feel bad. You're like, I want to be a part of that, and I want to, but this was those that comes with the territory. You're gonna miss some stuff. You know
yeah,
what I mean? But
yeah,
that's why
yeah.
on my off season, that's my little guy. He's big now.
Oh, okay,
And I'll tell
okay,
you, for most of our years and most of the things we go to, I'm on prep most of the time.
yeah,
But I still try to, on my off season, try to do stuff with him. But they're used to me being unavailable for 6 months out of the year, you know,
yeah.
which is
It's like a
tough.
job.
It is a job. It is a job. It is a job, and it's a hustle. And I get cranky when those last few weeks come around of prep. I mean, no one even. I'm like, don't talk to me. It's hard. I'm like, I don't want anyone to talk to me. The problem is, I'm also a mental health therapist, So people talk to me all day.
Yeah,
And I have to, I have to be on for my job. And then I have to come home. And when I come home, I'm like, no one talk to me.
yeah.
Don't, you know?
You, I always had these fantasies about female bodybuilder and stuff. You know,
Yeah.
having like a female bodybuilder girlfriend. I
Yeah.
remember this guy. He did like a video about dating a female bodybuilder, and the way he was saying it ain't all what it's cracked up to
It
be.
is not.
It was at one point that I think she was taking certain things, and then she would get like aggressive to him,
Yeah.
and
I mean, most of my aggression comes from hunger, to be
yeah,
honest with you. I mean, but he's very patient. They
yeah,
know what I'm going through. They know that I'm tired. They know that I'm hungry. So they just kind of, love me through it, but those are hard times for everybody, and
yeah.
they're
I
hard for
can
me.
imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's part of it. It's just part of the sport. But, it's, I have a lot of friends that do this, and we're all going through it too. You know what
yeah,
I mean? It's
yeah,
just because every time you compete, you make a new friend, and it just happens. And we're all going through it together. This last show I did at USA Masters in Anaheim, I met a competitor there named Glenda who I competed against, um, and we're still friends. And we're actually competing together in Las Vegas this year. And
that's
so
cool.
every time I try to take something from it like that.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
mean it's good to have. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go for it, man.
No, no, it's good to have a support system because you by yourself, you're gonna feel isolated, and
Yeah.
you
I mean,
know,
you're a ball of nerves anyway, and you're walking into this venue and you don't know a soul. And before you know it, there's 6 or 7 of you sitting in a circle and you're talking about your kids and you're talking about your coaches, and all of a sudden you got a family there. And these women
yeah,
stick it with you. They're all there for the same thing. We know how hard each other worked. We worked. No one's rude or disrespectful to each other. The show promoters are super nice. Like it's a great experience. At least every show that I've done. And I've done the nationals in Charleston and the nationals in California, and everyone has been so nice to me, and it's been a really cool experience. And I
yeah.
keep coming back,
Does that
hoping.
make does that make you like mentally sane, like
Yeah,
with the support of your friends?
yeah, that helps because you know that they know what you're going through,
Yeah,
and you can text them and be like, "Oh my God, this is the hungriest I've ever been," and they'll tell you, you're almost there, and that's what gets you through it. To be honest with you, and they, I mean, I have friends that are not bodybuilders that are still like that too. It's really important that you have some sort of support system in this sport, um, especially for your mental health. That's a big deal for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I know bodybuilding. It can be healthy, but not. It could be unhealthy too.
Yeah, there's definitely I mean, and there's nothing healthy about what we're doing,
Yeah,
right? Um, we're taking our bodies to the extreme. We're eating very little amounts of food. We're doing cardio 2 times a day. We're lifting and posing for an hour a day. There's nothing healthy about it. Um, but as long as you're trying to take care of yourself the best you can, even when you're doing this, taking your vitamins, getting your sleep, remembering to talk to somebody when you need it, um, you can get through that time.
yeah,
But it's not the healthiest thing in the world.
yeah. How, f-
It's not like that.
yeah. How far do you see yourself doing this?
So I really want my pro card. I mean, I've just been on the cusp for the past couple years, almost there, and I'm gonna try for another couple years, and then you know, and then it's probably time to hang up the heels at that point. I don't want to do this forever. Um,
Yeah,
I don't. I mean, I want to be able to travel for a good amount, and I want to be able to go to a football game and drink a beer and all that stuff. So it's probably a couple more years, and I'm hoping this is my year though. I'm
yeah,
hoping this is it, and then I can take a whole year off and then get ready for a pro show, and that's always the hope.
yeah.
You know,
Would you want to be like a judge or a spectator, or
I,
just being a spectator?
I mean, I think a judge would be a fantastic role in this. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Um, I'd have to learn how to do it, but I mean, I kind of got the gist of things from doing this for a while. But you know, I will tell you the truth. I don't think I would be a spectator, only because I feel like I'm missing out on something. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like, I want to be up there too. I want to be up there too. That fear of missing out would probably break my heart. You know what I mean? Like, if I quit, and that's going to make me want to go back
yeah,
and keep doing it for another 10 years. And I just don't
yeah,
know if I have that in me.
yeah. I couldn't be a bodybuilder because mentally, you know,
Yeah.
I just like as an everyday person, you know, you just kind of keeping your mind like stable.
Yeah. And you got to try to find things, even, I mean, like, to keep your mind busy. You have to strengthen your mind. So, like, I've learned how to cross stitch and things like that. Like, I think if you watch Samson Dauda on his YouTube channel, when he goes through his Olympia preps, he builds Legos or like models of like airplanes or whatever. And I picked that up this past year as well. I went and bought Lego kits and built like Legos. And you really got to just try to put your mind somewhere else
Yeah,
when those heavy months hit, those weeks, those last weeks where you're like, I just want this to end and I just want this to stop. You know what I mean? But you got to keep your mind strong, because you've gotten this far. You've done 20 weeks of this, and this last prep, I remember like the last couple days, I mean, I was just shattered. I was just like, I just don't want to do this anymore. And then before you know it, coach is like, okay, we're done. It's over. And you're like, now's the fun part. Now I get to eat a little bit more food, and now I get to have a little bit of vodka to get your muscles pumped up and dry. And I'm like, this is the good stuff, you know? Then you get to put on that suit, that custom made suit that you paid $2,000 for.
yeah. Wow,
you
two
know?
thousand dollars. Wow. Yeah, I noticed that you women, yeah, you guys like wow, yeah, you gotta pay more than what the men do.
Yeah. And
That's crazy.
and when you get judged, they're not only looking at your suit, because your suit's a part of it. They
Yeah,
want your tan, your jewelry, your hair, your makeup. Everything goes into that judging. Do you know what I mean? It's not just your muscles. Everything. It's a beauty pageant with muscles at the end of the day,
yeah,
right? You can't
yeah,
go in there looking like you just got out of bed. They want to see the glam. They want to see the glitz and the glamour. So that whole process is so expensive to
yeah,
do. Also,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
the
They-
tan itself is like, oh, that's expensive.
yeah. Well, what's your thoughts on like the other divisions, like bikini and fit model?
Well, I'll tell you what. I think Fit Model gives people a chance to break into this arena of bodybuilding, um, where they probably couldn't before. Just like when wellness came on, it was an avenue for people who didn't fit into bikini. Having avenues for people to fit into it, everybody wants to try. Everyone wants a chance. You know what I mean? And if there's nowhere for you to fit into, now you have an area to fit into. I mean, I those bikini girls, I'll tell you what, I work out at the gym with a couple bikini girls, and they lift heavy. They are in there every day. They are giving it their all. And they look great.
Yeah,
It's not a mold that I could fit my body into, but at the end of the day, we're all doing the same thing. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? They're just doing theirs a little different.
yeah,
Um, and I think, the more divisions, probably the more chance people have of trying this. I mean, I'm not the size of a full Olympian at the physique level. If, Olympian physique, I'm just not that size. Maybe if there was like a physique light for women, just like for men, you have a 212. You know what I mean? You have men's physique, classic physique, 212. You have men's bodybuilding. Maybe if there was a women's physique, 212. For the littler physique, that would be nice too. I don't mind it at all. It's if it works for you, go for it. I try to keep a
yeah,
very positive outlook on people giving things a try. So
yeah. They like the two negative divisions that people not too crazy about, you know.
yeah,
Unless
I
if
mean,
you like supporting them, you know.
yeah. I mean, I have heard a lot of people weren't or still not behind the fitness model thing, because
Yeah,
you have probably someone that hasn't been training, that just came on, won a show, and is now turned pro in a matter of days. And a lot of us have been working for that for years. So I think there's a little bit of a hate, not hate, but a dislike for that, because maybe that person didn't work as hard. But I'll tell you what, when that person gets to the pro level, they're going to work very hard because they're going to have to try and beat all of the people who just won too. You know, it's everyone's got to work.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
everyone
yeah,
does.
yeah. Because I remember like I was like watching the show, and there was a lady behind me, and it seemed like she was a fitness trainer, and she was like, I don't get it. I'm not.
Yeah,
It's I can't even like
yeah,
focus on like how would I do, man?
yeah, yeah. It was definitely a little offsetting for a lot of people who have been doing this for a long time.
Yeah,
I just try to stay in my lane and mind my business, um, and do what I came to do, and that's really it.
yeah.
Yeah,
So like you're an educator also, right? Like
I am.
how you
I
got
am.
into the education?
Well, I was actually a police officer before I started. I went back to school during my first prep. I went and got my first master's because I thought if I can starve myself, I could probably get a better degree. I got a master's and I became a teacher and a middle school counselor. And then on my last prep, I said, well, if I can do that, I can do something else. And so I just finished another master's in therapy. So I'm a mental health counselor. I mostly focus with children, but I can see adults too. But most of my focus is with children, um, and it just turns out that's a role I'm really good for, especially with kids, boys, especially because I'm an athlete, and so now we have something in common, and now I can tell you things, and you can help me, and so that's awesome for me. So
Was bodybuilding like the only sport that you did?
bodybuilding, actually, I was a soccer player
Okay.
when I was young, but not for very long. We grew up. Um, my father went to jail when I was about 12, and he was there until I was a mother myself. And so we grew up with no money and no sports, and we just didn't have that. I did sports for a little while, did soccer for a little bit, but that was really it. Went to work real young, like 14 or 15, to help mom out. And I had four siblings, so we just didn't have those opportunities. But once I became, um, an educator, and I was able to do things for myself and have help from my husband, and he was my supporter, I was able to try something that I haven't been able to do. So it's been nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I noticed that you when we was talking, like you go to bed at 7 o'clock in the
I
morning. I
do.
mean, in the
I
afternoon.
do. I
That's
do.
crazy. I'm like, wow. I don't even like. Do you get like what time do you get up?
I get up between 1:30 and 2 a.m. every morning. Um,
Okay.
Yeah, like during it's a habit that I've gotten into with my preps.
Yeah.
I have to be at my job at a certain time, and I want to make sure that I have no excuses. So if I'm up at 2, I promise I can get my cardio, my posing, and my weightlifting all done in one shot, right?
Mm.
Because I got to come home still from work and do another round of cardio. And so I want to make sure that I am doing everything at 100%. So when I get up on that stage, I know that it wasn't me, that I did what I had to do. So I'm up at 1:32 a.m. It's most people think that's nuts to be up at that time, but for
Do you
me, I'm
have
like,
to or you want to?
well, I have to. If I want to get all my
Okay.
stuff done, I need to be
Yeah.
up at that time. So
Wow.
that's me every morning, even during the summers where I don't work. I'm still up at 2 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
that's
just a
that's a
habit now.
discipline.
It's a
How do
habit
you
now.
explain people that like that
They know.
that's
They know.
what
They know. When I'm in prep, my friends know. And they're
yeah.
like, and there's times during prep when I'm in bed at 6:30, 6 o'clock sometimes, and I just go to bed. And my friends know
Mhm.
it. I mean, I hit prep, and my friends know. Like, I'll tell my friends prep starts next week, and they say, "I love you. Text me if you need me. I'll see you in 6 months." Like that's how good my friends are, because they
That's
know.
cool.
Yeah, they know. I don't invite me to anything because I'm not gonna go. So please don't do that. Just
Wow.
and they understand. They get it. Yeah.
Wow.
But I do
Like
go to bed at 7.
yeah, what do you do to just I think you like do you like to just to have fun or Go to the movies or something like
No,
that?
to tell you the truth, anything that involves eating, it's not usually something that I'm at.
Yeah, I would suppose so.
You
Cause
know, so
yes,
the movies, you got to get popcorn and candy, and
yeah,
I really don't eat any of that. You go out to dinner, I don't usually eat any of that. So it's hard for me to be able to go to those things when most functions concentrate on joy through food.
yeah,
But I do like going to concerts. I live in Bentonville, Arkansas, and
yeah,
so this is like the home of Walmart. So we live over here where Walmart is, Walmart headquarters. So we always have good concerts down here and things like that. Tell you the truth, my favorite thing to do for like free time is go to the beach or go to the lake for a weekend. We go to Mexico probably 2 or 3 times a year. So for me, that's the times I get to relax a little bit. I still bring my food, even to
yeah,
Mexico, but
yeah,
there's a very small window of time. It's usually right after I compete. We'll fly straight to Mexico right after my shows, and I'll eat and have whatever I need to have during that week, and then it's back to business. So that's really my only free week during
yeah,
the year.
yeah.
Yeah,
What's an advice you can tell somebody you can give to someone want
yeah.
to start out?
I think the best advice that I can give somebody is don't be afraid to ask questions, right?
Yeah,
Because I think people are scared of asking questions because I might look stupid. But you look stupid now because you don't have the answers, and now where are you? It's important to ask questions. It's important, even if someone, like, it was hard for me at the beginning to ask questions of people that were like had been competing for a while. I was like, I don't want to ask them anything. I'm gonna look like a fool, you know. But now I have people that ask me questions all the time, and I love being able to give them the information they need and say, this is how this works, this is how that works. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Your journey is not somebody else's journey. That's an important part to remember, because you'll be going through this, and I'm going to tell you, social media will screw your brain up,
yeah,
right? You look at those pictures of people on, that you think they look like that all year, and they do not. You know, keep to yourself. Your journey is not someone else's journey. Always ask questions, and during your preps, make sure to also challenge yourself personally. I think that's a big part of it. um, don't just sit there and be hungry. Educate yourself, take a class, do some yoga, learn how to sew, broaden yourself. And I think that's the best advice I can give somebody, to go through this without losing your mind.
yeah.
You
Well,
know?
I appreciate you sharing. Best of luck. I hope you do well on this upcoming show.
Thank you.
What if hypothetically, what if you don't get it? What then
If
what?
Yeah, and we've talked. Me and my husband have talked about that a little bit, because that's definitely a possibility. They
Yeah,
say the chances of you winning a show are about this, are less than you getting like drafted into the NFL.
yeah,
so, so it's not an easy thing to do. We talked about it, and if I don't get it this year, I'm going to go ahead and take next year off. And this is so that when I come back, I can be in the 50 plus arena, because right now I'm floating between, I'm 49, so I'm going to wait a year and come back for the over 50 and try again, but I'm going to take next year off for sure. Yeah.
okay. Well, I really appreciate you sharing, and yeah, our best wishes to you. Now,
Thank
I don't
you.
want to say luck, but wishes.
Thank
Yeah,
you. I appreciate that. And you'll see my pictures when we come to time. I usually don't ever share like when I'm going on online, like what my preps look like or what my body looks like. I really try to keep my head down and mind my own business. And so you'll know in November.
all right, all right. Well, thank you.
You're very welcome. It was very nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you as well.
Yeah.
All right,
Bye, everybody.
bye.